In this video I will talk about Konnektoren, Konjunktionen, especially about the syntax von Kausal- und Konsekutiv-Konnektoren. Let's start with the connectors da, weil, zumal, which will create a Nebensatz. So we have a Hauptsatz on the left side, followed by a Kausal Nebensatz. Kausal means a cause, there's a reason mentioned. So this is the structure. You can analyze that later and pause the video if you like. This is how we count the position of the elements. And here's the example sentence. Karl kauft ein neues Auto, da sein altes Auto kaputt ist. Da is our connector. The same sentence would be identical if we use connectors like weil and zumal. So let me mention at this point that we're thinking in modules. So there's a word 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are 3 words, but we don't count words, we count them as module. So those 3 words are one module, and therefore this is position 3, one single position. Same is true here, of course. 3 words, one module, we count them as one position. Of course, the verb in a Hauptsatz is on position 2. And the verb in a Nebensatz is at the end. Now we talk about an exception of a causal connector, the connector denn. Structure is pretty much the same. Karl kauft ein neues Auto, then followed by the connector denn, and then this one triggers a complete new Hauptsatz. Sein altes Auto ist kaputt. As you understand, this alone would be a Hauptsatz without connector already. Sein altes Auto ist kaputt. With a connector, we combine those 2 sentences into one, but 2 Hauptsätze. Denn sein altes Auto ist kaputt. Again, this is one module. This is also one module. And the verb in the first Hauptsatz is on position 2. And the verb in the second Hauptsatz is also position 2, even though it doesn't look like that. How come? We count position 1, 2, 3, Hauptsatz. The verb is on position 2. Second Hauptsatz, position 1, 2, 3. The verb is also on position 2. As I said, this is one module counted as one position. And the exception here is that the connector denn, especially this one, does not count. This one is a position 0. Let's talk about other connectors, so-called Konsekutiv-Konnektoren, which are expressing a consequence. Here's the reason, and here will be the consequence. They are called aus diesem Grund, daher, darum, deshalb, deswegen. Same structure, positioning. Our sample sentence is, sein altes Auto ist kaputt. Aus diesem Grund, Connector, kauft Karl ein neues Auto. And the same is true for the connectors daher, darum, deshalb, deswegen. Please pay attention to the letter D, darum, deshalb, deswegen. They start with letter D. In the next slide I show you why this matters. So, of course, we have the verb on position 2. You remember, this is position 1 module. Position 2 is the verb of the Hauptsatz. And here also position 2, this time, of course, we count the connector. The connector is on position 1, therefore the verb on position 2 right after the connector. Now we talk about these 3 connectors. Warum, weshalb, weswegen. They will create a Nebensatz. Why is that? Same structure. Sein altes Auto ist kaputt. Warum Karl ein neues Auto kauft. And the same is true for weshalb, weswegen. Now pay attention that these connectors start with letter W. And they are not just connectors, they are at the same time Fragewörter. I will mention that in a moment. So in the first Hauptsatz here, the verb is of course in position 2. You already know why we count like that. And in the Nebensatz, of course, the verb is at the end. So these 3 words are not just connectors, they are so-called W-Fragewörter, W question words. And if you use a W question word, a W-Fragewort nach dem Komma, after the comma, it will trigger a Nebensatz. And you know other Wie-Fragewörter, for example, wer, wie, wo, was, wieso, whenever you use them, they will trigger a Nebensatz if they are used after the comma. Last topic is the so-called inversion. An inversion is when the Nebensatz is in front ahead of the Hauptsatz. So we have our same sample sentence as before with the positioning. Hauptsatz, Karl kauft ein neues Auto. Nebensatz, da sein altes Auto kaputt ist. Now we will put the Nebensatz ahead of this one. But first, the verb in the Hauptsatz is on position 2, and of course in the Nebensatz the verb is in position Ende. Nothing new. So here comes the inversion. The Nebensatz starts here with da sein altes Auto kaputt ist, kauft Karl ein neues Auto. This is the Hauptsatz. And when you compare it to the upper one, Auto is on the same position, neues ein is at the same position, but the subject Karl in this inversion goes on position 2, while the verb in the Hauptsatz, which was position 2, goes here in the inversion to position 1. That's extreme. So this is an inversion. The Nebensatz comes before the Hauptsatz, and that's when in that Hauptsatz here the verb and the subject change position. That's why in the inversion, yes, the verb is still at the end, but exception, the verb of this Hauptsatz in an inversion, and only there the verb is on position 1. Only in this video with these 3 connectors this is possible to have an inversion. With the other connectors that I showed earlier it's not possible, but with those 3 in this video, da, weil und zumal, you can do an inversion. In our next video I'm going to show you more of these. Thanks for watching. See you next time.